Josh, are the Houston Astros going to be in the playoffs?
Yes.
There we go, man.
I'll be one better. They're in the World Series.
Woo! We love hot takes on the lead, man. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of The Lead Houston. Your host, as always, Harley Dugan. We don't ever bury the lead here. We got a very special guest with me. Anybody knows Apollo Media, you will know not only Brian Lima and Paulo Des, but you should be knowing the producer behind Apollo Media, the brains. You know, we'll give you some flowers, man. We'll give you some flowers. The brains, the intelligence, the editing behind Apollo Media. The little engine that could has now became a freaking monster. My goodness, y'all are dominating now, man. Shout out to y'all. Content creators definitely y'all got players wearing y'all's merch, man. That's the ultimate goal for any content creator. I mean, I remember when it all started and I'm sitting at home and I'm like, hey, the hell? Ain't that Apollo's merch that Correa's wearing there? Yeah. What the fuck is this?
It was very once upon a time in Hollywood. Very, very. Hey.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just like the camera. I was like, whoa. That's awesome. I mean, I get hyped over a player commenting on a post for me, and I could only imagine how hyped y'all were about someone wearing y'all's merch, and then obviously that just. Puts that into a wildfire. Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead and discuss who you are. Let the people know them. Come on, man.
I'm Josh. I'm Apollo Josh. It used to be Josh Strohs, and I changed it. But yeah, no, me and Des first started Apollo in 2020, and then there was Zero Sports, and so the name of our game just has been pivoting, and we've just been doing that ever since. Just creating whatever we think is fun and cool, and just kind of letting our fandom shine through content. You said I'm the brains. If I'm the brains, there's the IQ of this building is pretty low. I just do what I can, and we just if we need something to be done, I just try and figure out how to do it. As far as whatever technical we need to do with a live podcast, we got to figure out how it works. Got to learn how all that kind of stuff works.
I think you're a little bit of an understatement considering I'm watching your hype videos. Y'all's hype videos have, come on, man. Y'all got one of the best.
One of my favorite things to do is
I know.
Before I got started, it was just like making fun little edits. The first one I did was like it was the 2019 Astros, and I made like the Family Matters theme song, and I just like put all the guys in like 20 clips and stuff. That's my favorite thing to do is editing. Every year when we got to make the hype video, usually I put it off because I'm a procrastinator. I'm like, I have all year to put I had all off season to make a hype video for the new season, and I don't usually make it until like March 25th. So, but it's my favorite thing to do. Collecting, because everybody has those collective feelings as Astro fans. Whether you've been a fan since you were 10 and now you're 40, or you've been a fan a few years, we all have those visual memories of moments that have happened. I love putting those to some hype music and getting people pumped up.
Yeah, man, it's definitely exciting. You're not giving yourself as much credit as you should, man. You do a damn good job of it, man.
I appreciate
seriously.
That. We got a team of some other editors that
for sure.
Jacob, young Jacob is always killing it with that.
Fantastic. Yeah, man. Apollo's just been growing, and like I said earlier, I think I said it in the pre-show. Y'all are a monster right now, man. I mean, y'all are up there, man.
We're trying.
Y'all expanding into different fields, and that's usually what you want to do as a content creator. Y'all not only have baseball, y'all talk football, y'all talk Rockets, y'all talk basketball, y'all talk movies, y'all talk. I'm missing something else. Some crazy
we're all about the Dynamo and Dash as well.
We go. Baked sports.
Recently went to our first SaberCats rugby game.
I saw that.
That's fun. Rugby's fun.
Yeah.
And the
I need
Sabercats are
that.
good. Houston needs to get
I
up on
heard.
them. They're
heard.
one of the best teams in the I think it's the rugby union in the United States, and they're killing it. They need some love. They're about to go to the playoffs.
I wish our Astros were killing it.
Unfortunately, this is the one year where it's like, all right, the Texans are going to be good. The Rockets are up and coming.
Yep.
Like, we can have all three teams going at once, and then the Astros were like, hold my beer. I'm just gonna decide to stop being good.
Yeah, the running joke is that the Houston Astros are sacrificing themselves for a Houston Texans maybe Super Bowl.
Hey, to be honest, and I'm a baseball guy first.
Yeah,
I might take that. I would love to see CJ Stroud lead the Texans to a bowl.
I have full confidence that my Texans could definitely make some noise this year. But I need my Astros to start making some noise. Now, we are just on the brinks of a victory against the Chicago White Sox as we record this. They have taken 2 out of the 3 from the series. Are you happy with the series?
No.
I thought so.
Should have been a sweep. Should have been a sweep. Should have been a sweep. Today, thank God they salvaged that. But when your starting pitching is allowing 2 runs, was it 1 run yesterday?
Yes.
2 runs today. One run today. 3 runs today.
3 runs, yeah.
When your starting pitching is allowing 3 runs or less, you need to be winning those games. It doesn't matter who the starter is. I mean, obviously it does a little bit, like if you're facing, an ace. But when you're facing a guy that has like a 4.5 ERA and he's going 8 2/3 against you, something's off there. I get it how players go on cold streaks, they go on hot streaks. But when a guy's just dicing you up like that, maybe it's something with preparation, something with the game plan, something with not making adjustments halfway through the game. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what needs to change, but something's off there.
There is, man. There's something not right with the Houston Astros this year. I've talked plenty about it on Bleacher Report, and it's just like, man, so every time we have like this monthly topical on Bleacher Report, and it's like 1 month, it's like, well, hey, if the Astros, they got a pretty solid schedule in front of them. They string together a few games, they get right back into it. And then you go the next month, yeah, Astros didn't do that. And then
do what they're supposed to do.
And so, and it's even the way they won today was not at all convincing for me. I mean, if the Chicago White Sox showed you in the 7th inning of Game 3 of this series that they're the Chicago White Sox and we don't like to play fun baseball for our fans to watch. And that's why there's more Astros fans watching than White Sox fans.
Yo, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. They are a bottom of the league team.
Yes.
And they should have been swept.
Yeah, basically, without Jordan, no excuses. Without Kyle Tucker, no excuses. This is a team you should have dominated, and it just didn't felt that way. I do want to highlight Game 1, though. Game 1 was a very untypical kind of Astros game, considering that you had a Joe Espada, I would say legitimate. Would you call that a legitimate ejection?
I'd say passable.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, it was good. It was worth it.
Hey, man. We got through C's over here, man. All right, man. We got through C's in school over here, buddy.
Yeah.
So and then we had Jose Altuve throw a fit that I've never seen him
never seen him that mad in my life. The only time I've ever seen him be that mad is when he's injured, or when he like really messes up a play, he'll quickly be like, fuck. And then he'll turn around and be okay. That was a whole couple minutes later, and he's still, replaying in his mind and getting mad while he's walking out to second base. Yeah, that was wild.
It was, and it was not. I'm like, makes me, and of course that was the growing conversation. Was it just a pent up frustration of the course of this year so far?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the same way we're frustrated saying they should have swept the White Sox. I'm sure they are quadruple that and their frustration of why couldn't they hit Cannon? Like the guy has, even after that 8 and 2/3 inning, no runs, he still has a 3.3 ERA. Like he's good. He's a good pitcher. I'm not, all props to him, but
sure.
Turn around and you face Garrett Crochet, who's a way better pitcher, and you get to him. So it's like they know that they're better than what they're playing, and I'm sure that's where the frustration came from.
Well, I continue to get the general manager for this team telling me that, hey, we're going to turn it around. At some point, when the hell does that bug you? Because I'm done with the we're going to turn it around, guys. It's like every single time he's on 790 in the morning, that's the quote. And I'm like,
I get it. I get both sides of it. I get being frustrated by it. But at the same time, like, what else do you want him to say? Do you want him to say like the season's over? So it's kind of a tough, like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, we love that he's so transparent and that he came out immediately and he talks and he's on show every week. I love that, but at the same time, when they're not doing great, I don't know what I want him to say, but him continually saying that is frustrating. It's just like I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want him to do. I want him to win. That's all I want.
I mean, that's what we're used to, right? We're used to the Astros winning and kicking ass, taking names, and just wearing that black cape as a fan, and talking smack on Twitter. Man, I've been a little bit of a hermit crab this year, man. It's upsetting.
Boring.
I don't like
it. A lot more boring not getting to talk shit.
Yeah, like I'm used to going on YouTube here and Twins. We've done that too many times. And then Minnesota fans are just, oh, F you, we're gonna, and then boom, sweep, Astros sweep. That's what I'm used to. And now I'm on the receiving end of it, and I don't like it right now.
It's not fun.
I'm not having a good time.
I'm straight up not having a good time, bro.
Yes, exactly. So Dana Brown, I agree with you. I do believe it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. And obviously he's not going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to trade for XYZ, even though he's transparent as hell. And he has said in the past what, we could be looking for.
I do appreciate
but it. Yes. Is there any issues? Is there any answers actually with Joey Loperfido, who should be coming back to the big leagues? His time is coming up. Or, if could you explain a little bit what that time is? If you know that rule from the minors
it's so if you send somebody down, if you use one of their contract options is what they are.
Yeah.
If you send them down, then you cannot recall them for 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And that's to avoid roster manipulation, sending a guy down for one day and then bringing him back up the next day, and like having a rotating bullpen every other game. It's mostly for pitching. It's like, so you can't send a guy down,
fresh arm every day,
to get a fresh arm, and then like every other day you bring in a guy. Just avoid that kind of stuff. But yeah, he was sent down. The only time you can bring them back up is if an injury. So if which if they put JV on the IL sooner, so I think it's specifically an injury at your position or something like that, because they still have to wait, even though they put JV on the IL. But he'll be back tomorrow. His 10 games or 10 days are up tomorrow. He had an issue with his something he tweaked on a slide. I can't remember what it was, his hand or something.
Yeah.
But I think they basically were like, he's fine. So we should see him tomorrow.
I'm excited for it. Joey Loperfido was up here. I enjoyed him watching him play baseball, not football, but I enjoyed watching him play some baseball. Got too much football on my mind, and for right reasons. And I enjoyed him when he was up here. A lot of fans were pretty visibly upset that Loperfido was the guy that got called down. I understood why, considering the roster and who had options. I mean, you're not going to DFA John Singleton the way he was playing. At the time, you would have loved to DFA Jose Abreu, but hey, it didn't happen at the time. Now it has. This is fun. We don't have a first baseman that, bats almost at the same number he's wearing with a 0 in front of it. So that's fun. Singleton is a fun story. I'm still wondering what the hell's happening at first base. I love John Singleton, love what he's done for you. I think you're getting everything you can out of him this year, and I appreciate it. Because I've said some stuff about him in the past. Yeah. And hey, he's made me eat my words. I love it.
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think we're probably seeing his ceiling, which is not horrible for a backup first baseman. Having a 646 OPS, a guy that can come in and give you a good at bat. We saw it last year in the postseason against the Rangers. He came in, he walked, and then Altuve hit that 3-run bomb. It was huge. So I think he has a lot of value as a backup first baseman. Starting every day is a little tough. It's still not horrible. It's not what Jose Abreu was giving you. It's better than that, at least. I mean, today he walked, and that was part of that rally where they just came back today. I think that's his value to the team. And if he's the starter the rest of the season, I don't think that's the end of the world. I think it's a little bit of a hole. You bat him 8th, 9th, something like that. It's not the end of the world. But if somebody like Joey can get to the point defensively at first where he can be starting, then that's where the team can be very strong, I think.
How confident are you in his defensive ability at first base? I know they've been working with him there.
Yeah, honestly, I think right now he's passable, but Joe Espada and a lot of the Astros coaching is very infield minded. Joe Espada was our infield coach for a little bit there. He's still very infield heavy. I think he still does infield training with the guys. So his standard for first baseman defense is a lot higher than any of ours. So I think that's why they're very hesitant with it. That's part of the reason. But in my mind, and I've said this before, I think his youth and athleticism can make up for a lot of what he doesn't know, like fundamentally at first. First baseman is not an easy position. It's not a position that you can just pick up. Like people just think, just throw him at first. So David Ortiz played first, and he's, David Ortiz. But it can really hurt you if you don't have a very fundamentally sound first baseman. It can hurt you in close moments of a game. But in my mind, I think the trade-off is worth it. The trade-off of having Joey Lupifito's bat in the offense every night or every other night or whatever is worth it. I think defensively and athletically, like he can make it. He can range to balls that maybe John can't. He can get to foul balls that are deep down the line, potentially further and faster than John can. So there's a trade-off there. I would put him in there right now, but I don't make the decisions. I'm, playing little couch GM a little bit, but yeah, I do think he makes it there eventually. I just think I think Joe really wants to drill into him the fundamentals of first base, and it's going to take some time before he's in there every day. Wouldn't be surprised if next month he's starting at first once a week or something, every few days, and kind of getting it down. When JV's starting, he's at first because JV's a fly ball pitcher.
Yes,
we probably won't see him at first when Framber's pitching for a while, if ever. You know what I mean? So they're gonna ease him in. I know most fans are like, just put him at first. End of story. And I get that, and I don't think it'd be necessarily a mistake to do that, but then you do that and he misses a scoop or he gets tripped up, puts the wrong leg at first on a quick PFP type of play or something like that, and causes a rally for the team. We lose the game, and then everybody's gonna be like, I can't believe he's still at first. Why? And then everybody flips the other way, and they're like, he shouldn't be starting first. So you get, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to see. I just call him Joe Perfito.
Joe Perfito. I haven't heard that one. That's a good one.
Joe Perfito. Boom, done. It was a typo one time when he got called up and I was texting my buddy Danny, who does a lot of editing for me, a lot of my hype videos, and I was like, yeah, man, I went to put Joey Loperfido for some reason. It went Joey Joperfido, and I was like, you know what? I'm digging the Joe Perfido. I'm calling him Joe Perfido.
At least you're getting the right O in there and not ooh like Des says. He says Lou Perfido.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's weird,
like,
man.
Yeah, it's not
Come
it.
on.
It's not it.
I'd rather him say Lou Perfido than calling him J-Lo.
That's true. I hate the J-Lo thing. Yeah,
I hate the J-Lo.
I just call him Joey Lopes. That's my go-to.
There we go.
Like
like Joey Bats from
exactly.
Joey Votto. I don't have no problem with it.
Yeah.
The next bit of news that came out was Jake Bloss, man. Jake Bloss has just been rising in the minors, and they say, hey, bud, you know what? You're already past the height for AAA. You can just go ahead and debut for us against the Baltimore Orioles tomorrow.
Yeah, hell of a start on a Friday night game at home.
You can't get much bigger than that. We're trying to see some fireworks, not only from Jake Bloss, but to win and get some Friday night fireworks with that. Absolutely. He had a 1.74 ERA between AA and AAA. In AA, opposing teams are only batting 127 against him. Jake Bloss has been a guy that can get a fastball up to the 98s, really sits in the mid-90s. I'm excited to see what he's got. What is your feeling right now about and whether or not he stays in this rotation for the foreseeable future? Because this is just a penciled-in start.
Yeah, I don't know if he stays in. If JB comes back soon, I think he probably doesn't stay. But if he's here for 3-4 starts, I think it's him and Spencer Arrighetti maybe battling for that final rotation spot. If Spencer continues to struggle, well, he had a decent game today. I wouldn't say today was a struggle. He got hurt a little bit by the offense and the and defense, but yeah, I think he gets a chance. I think he gets at least 2 starts. I really like him. Dez, we just did a stream watching the game. Dez compared his comp was Georgetown Jose Urquidy. And it's a pretty solid comp. Yeah, he's very much a soft contact guy. I would say he's more like a Jose Urquidy, Hunter Brown mix.
Ooh.
Somewhere in between there. He can get that fastball up to the, like you said, the like 98. He can touch 98 on there. But usually sits mid-90s. He's got soft contact stuff. He just threw a part of a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Was it last week? So I'm really excited to see what he can do. Obviously, you hope the Astros analytics team saw something with his matchup versus the Orioles that was like, okay, this makes sense. His stuff, because as there's also Eric Lauer, there's some other potential options they could have gone to. And they somehow see that bringing up Jake Bloss from AA is the right move. And maybe they're right. We'll find out.
It's a tall task going against the Baltimore Orioles, I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah, you straight to the show, and you got to face Gunnar Henderson lead off.
Cool. No problem. just give me some ground outs and some double plays, and I'm happy, right? I mean,
all you need. That's all you need.
So Jake Bloss is definitely, I'm excited for it tomorrow. As of right now, though, the Houston Astros, after this series win, regardless of the missed sweep, they're only 8.5 games back now from the division. The Mariners did lose to the Guardians today, 6-3. And then the wild card, they're 6.5 games back. For a team that is on the cusp of getting back there, they're on their way. They're going to be returning soon. They're going to go back to that Houston Astros team. Do you believe in that statement, considering how far they're back right now?
So, yes, but I've been saying for a bit, and I know Dana keeps going on the 790 show. He's like, yeah, all it takes is we just rattle off like a 10-game win streak and everything's fine. I'm like, yeah, I guess in theory. But I really think this is going to be a slow climb. I think it's going to be every month you make up 1 or 2 games. I think that's got to be your goal. And then by August, you're right in there and you're fighting. And then it's a fight to the death in August, September. Yeah, I think the goal would be by All-Star break to be for sure over 500 and within like 4 games, within like 2 to 4 games. If you're there, then you have a chance. As long as you're not, if you're at the All-Star break back by 7 or more games, then it's time to talk about selling at the deadline, reloading for next year. But like last year, I think I haven't looked it up to where they are now, but I think last year at this point they were also back by like 6 games. They were back in July something by like 5.5 games. They came back, had to happen on the last day, but they ended up winning division. So after last year, I have hope that they can come back from any deficit, but it's going to be a slow climb.
When it's always the Houston,
they're going to just rattle off a big win streak and then be up by 2 games. Yeah,
considering the roster right now and like the amount of injuries this team is, it just seems like there's another injury day by day. There's just more bad news that happens when you think you get something going, seems like a big injury happens again or another minor injury and it just like puts you back down again. It's annoying. And, I'll say this though, it's the Houston. I have this cockiness and arrogance with my Houston Astros until they die.
Yeah, I mean, as you should.
I called them the Michael Myers of baseball, man. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, sure, 2015 was that was a great team. I absolutely love that team, near and dear to my heart. 2016, okay, well, you added some new pieces. Didn't quite happen, but you were hot at that end of the year. And it just trickled into 2017, the whole year. It felt good, getting a damn World Series representing for the city. And sure, we might have banged a little bit, but who cares? I have no problem with it. And since then, it has just been an absolute just tearing across the MLB. I mean, it runs through Houston. It has been just an awesome thing to relive as a fan, looking through a lot of those memories, especially this year. That's what a lot of fans are doing right now because they feel like this is the window is closing. And I don't want to believe it quite yet. I'm not going to believe it quite yet, actually.
I don't think you need to. I think worst case scenario, well, second worst case scenario this season is the Astros have to sell at the deadline. They reload. Next season, they come out. You still have a pretty strong core. You still have Yordan, Tucker, Altuve, Yiner, Pena, Myers. You still have a solid core of offense. You can make some moves to add to that. You still have a solid core pitching, especially if Hunter Brown, if this is true, what he's doing now. You can make some moves. You can pick up another pitcher or two. You have a good back of your bullpen. I mean, this is all a well-constructed lineup for the most part. They've just been underperforming. So at worst case scenario, you reload for next season with even stronger pieces and come out even better. Next season is when that's when you start to like, okay, now we got to kind of figure this out. You're going to lose Tucker. You're going to lose Framber. You're going to lose a lot of pieces over the next 2 seasons. So I would say, I said the reason I said second worst case scenario, because worst case scenario, in my opinion, is if you buy or you stand pat at the deadline and you still finish the season around 500, you don't get any pieces for trades, and you just end the season kind of middle. I think middle of the pack is always worse in baseball. Sure. You want to tank, you want to get a draft pick, or you want to be in the playoffs. In between is kind of the worst. But yeah.
We're talking a lot of pessimistic, man, being with the Astros right now. Let's turn the ship around. Let's talk about what could happen if what Dana Brown is continuing to preach every damn time actually does happen. What do you think the Astros can? Well, you have said that you think the Astros can turn it around, and hell, I agree with you too. I mean, this roster, all in all, is still 100%. there's a lot of teams that would kill for this roster.
Oh yeah, this is not a team of it's not even really a team of aging stars or anything. Your
No.
oldest players are Presley and Altuve. Now that you've dumped Brayu, for lack of a better word, this team is full of guys that should be performing. It's full of a back end of a bullpen that should be performing. Presley's kind of here or there. I think he can still find it, but maybe he's not that eighth inning guy anymore. Either way, there's studs in the bullpen. There's studs on the offensive lineup. Pitching is, you got some injuries, but there's still weapons there that you can win. They've just been underperforming. How many games have they lost by one run? How many games have they lost in extra innings? How many games have been walked off? Like that kind of stuff. And that leads to the question about your manager. But that kind of stuff is not indicative of a team that's bad. It's just a team that's not performing well. So I think that kind of team could, they absolutely could rattle off, winning 9-12, winning 12 of 14. All of a sudden you're doing well because this division sucks. The Mariners are on a great run, but they still, I'd say, roster comparatively, they're not better than the Astros.
No,
they just have a crazy good rotation.
They do. I go back to the series where they swept us. It didn't convince me. Like you were in every single game.
Yeah.
It was just great pitching by both teams. For an Astros team that's been struggling all year, and to go into Seattle and actually meet them pitching wise, okay.
A lot of this year, it was all games the Astros could have won.
Yes.
Which is like coulda, shoulda, woulda. In the grand scheme of things, it's like, well, it doesn't really matter. You should have won. If you didn't, an L's an L. But at the same time, you're right. They stayed in each one of those games. I think the hope is that the Mariners have been carried by their starting, but because of that, their starting pitching has thrown a lot of innings. So maybe that breaks down, getting towards the end of the season. Flip side of that is the Astros also have some guys who've never thrown this many innings in their life, and they are throwing innings. So it literally might be up to rotation depth and whose arms don't fall off by September. That might be the division right there, because the Astros offense at least can carry the Astros further than the Seattle Mariners offense can carry them.
Yes. Whose weight room's bigger? That's what it's going to come down to.
That's what it is.
Let's go do it, man. We are we're getting near the end of this. Dana Brown mentioned in trade deadline about adding some pitching and adding a hitter. He mentioned this about maybe a week or a few weeks ago. When I look at the pitching, I'm going, well, you already talked about, Rodney Blanco is going to have a pitching innings threshold just because he hasn't really done this. I'm missing someone else right now. Spencer Arrighetti, if he we continue using him the way we're using him, he's going to have an innings pitching threshold as well too. I feel like there's one more I'm blanking on.
Even Hunter Brown is
there we go. Yeah.
Like last year, I think I don't know exactly. He threw maybe 150 innings last year.
Yeah. Usually they don't go past 135,
Yeah. Hunter Brown last year, if I can get this to load. Last year, he threw 155 innings. Right now, he's already at 74. So he's on pace to match that, if not more.
Yes.
And so there is a potential issue there with dead arm, but he's young. We'll see. He might be at that age where it starts to turn into titanium, and you can go 200 innings a year the rest of his career. We'll see.
Hey, why not? Why not? But I will say that puts a lot more pressure on the two returning pitchers in Luis Garcia and Lance McCullers Jr. Those are the two guys that, to me, they're not. I don't know if they can make a move for a starting pitcher, just because I don't know if they have the assets to make. I don't know if they have the assets to make that move.
I don't know if. I think they're wait and see. I think I think they're definitely a deadline move team because they need every minute to decide. I think they're going to wait and see how Luis is doing. He should be back before the deadline, so he'll be starting games, and we'll be able to see, like, okay, does he have it? Does he not? Where is he at? Lance might be closer to the deadline, whether he's actually coming back. Maybe he'll be at least on a rehab start type of situation where they can see how he's doing. So you're absolutely right. Those two arms, I think, are going to make or break the season. Unfortunately, we thought they were going to be like just fuel in the fire, but now they might be how they come back and how they perform might make or break this rotation and this team. But I have a lot of hope in that they can do that. They can come back.
I mean, I do too. Luis Garcia, when he was here, I got a guy at work. I got to mention him. I got a guy at work that hates Luis Garcia. I have no clue why. I don't.
Why?
I
He's
don't
only
get it.
done great every chance he's
And
got.
I'm like, you're hating a guy that just won 15 games for you 2 years ago. I
came out of we might not win that Mariner series
exactly.
if we blow that game 3 in Seattle. If Luis doesn't come out in like the 11th inning and go 5 innings, like
I mean, you know,
huge.
Do his best Roger Clemens impression.
Yeah, exactly.
In the 18th inning game and just oddity that we go to another 18 innings that time. Shout out to Jeremy Pena.
Such a funny game because both Luis and Lance gave you like 15 innings total that game or something like that. They gave you like 10 innings total.
And you're relying very heavily on them to come back and perform to the level that you expect them to perform.
We need to come back and bring the 2022 vibes with them.
Hey, I would love that. You know, to me, I think that's the answer. I would say, regardless of the pressure, that's the answer to the starting pitching, and anything that creates depth for even the bullpen. Having a long relief guy would be absolutely fun to have. I would love a long relief guy back.
I think that's what Lance could be.
Exactly.
I don't know if he would want to do that. He's very much I'm a starter guy, but
mentality wise.
But he also is a team player, so I think that's where he would thrive, coming in, being able to come in and throw 2-3 innings. We've seen it in a playoffs that he could do that.
Sure.
And I think it would take pressure off of his arm and trying to go too much this season. Like if he could come in and be a long relief guy, go piggyback, go 3-4 innings, be able to go all out on his arm without having to go 6 innings, what how to be expected to throw 100 pitches a game. I think that would be great for him.
Switching to the bats, man. The Astros need a bat. I think we can all agree the Astros need a bat. They need to make a move at the deadline for a bat. What position are you looking at? And, you know, who do you think we could maybe peek our eyesight into?
I think clearly the position of need is first base.
Mm-hmm.
The problem there is there's not a whole lot of great first basemen that are available. Any of the great first basemen there are on contenders and they're not being traded. I think your options are taking a flyer on somebody like a Josh Bell and hoping that he can perform back to his old standard. I think right now I just looked it up a little bit ago and he has like a 660 OPS, 7 bombs. It's not like he would be like, oh, we got Josh Bell. Hell yeah. Like it'd be like, okay, that's some depth between him and John. Somebody should be able to perform. Like, let's try it out. I don't think it would cost a whole lot. That's why somebody like him might be available or might be an option. The other option could potentially be somebody as big as like a Vlad Guerrero. Now, I don't know if the Jays are like ready to move on him or not. But if they continue to underperform, then they might be, and he might be acquirable. You'd have to probably give up. It'd probably hurt. And that's why I'm like, I don't know if it'd be worth it to hurt that much to lose out of your already thin system. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of options. I mean, there's a few guys that are like first baseman / outfielder guys that you could maybe go get. But then at the same time, you already have a Cabbage and a Lo Profuto and somebody else I'm forgetting that can do that already and they're already on your team and they already have shown that brilliance in a few flashes. So it's interesting. Because other than that first base position, I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of outfield depth.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a second baseman, obviously. You don't need a shortstop, obviously. You don't need a third baseman, obviously. And you don't need a catcher. Yiner's kind of figured it out. So as far as a bat goes, like I don't know who you would get other than a first baseman, unless you're trading one of your main guys at the other positions for somebody big. I don't know.
Dismiss the notion. You wanted to say it. Dismiss the notion of Pete Alonso, please.
He's not going to be an Astro.
Like,
one, he's a rental.
Yes.
And the Mets are going to want too much for him. Yeah.
Plus, they're on a winning streak.
Yeah, the Mets are not one. They're not going to be selling, and if they are, they're going to want a lot for Pete Alonso and a lot more than the Astros need to give.
I just thought it was silly. I've seen a lot of the comment section for some of my vids. Pete Alonso, and I'm like, guys, I would love that, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense for me.
No, not for a rental. If he had one more year, that's why Guerrero is interesting because he has another year. So you get a guy that you can have next year as well. And I know he's been struggling, but if he could find it again, you imagine Vlad Guerrero in this lineup with Altuve and Pena and Yordan and Tucker.
There we go.
That's nasty. And even that probably isn't the right move. I'm just kind of probably get a little zealous. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's got to be a first baseman, and it's got to be somebody better than a 600 OPS, So honestly, there might not be a right move at all. You might just have to. The right move just might be training day and night with Joey Loperfido to learn first base and hope that he can stick it out and perform well with the bat as well. So I don't know.
Well, Josh, you basically answered the question right there. That was going to be my last one. If you had to make a move at the trade deadline, or would you not make a move at the trade deadline? You're saying this. Let's just stay pat. You're gonna have Astros fans upset at you, buddy. That's what and I love it.
And we do a trade deadline stream where we are streaming for like 6 hours watching the whole deadline. So I get it. I want to move. It's boring. It's boring as hell when you're like, make a move. Come on, do something. But at the same time, the smart move might be not making a move. It might be some little moves like when they got Yiner for Straw 2 years ago, like little moves like that, where you get a guy that for next year, something like that. Kind of not buying or selling, kind of that middle ground is probably where they'll end up at. But yeah, I mean, I'd rather not make a move than overspend because the market is crazy high. I'd rather than we trade. Like, as much as I would love Vlad Guerrero, if the price is crazy high, like they're wanting Chaz, Presley, Spencer Arrighetti, Jake Bloss, like they're wanting all this crazy stuff, then no, like obviously you don't make that move. But you don't really know that until you see what the market is. And all I ask is that they're seeing what the market is. All I ask is that they're making those calls. They're seeing what the prices are. I'd rather that at least than overspending.
Josh, are the Houston Astros going to be in the playoffs?
Yes.
There we go, man.
I'll be one better. They're in the World Series.
Woo! We love hot takes on the lead, man. We love it.
They're at least in the ALCS. I don't think the streak.
No. Don't you backtrack now. We got the clip stop right there.
The goddamn Yankees and Orioles are this year. So, but they're in the playoffs for sure.
My World Series.
I don't doubt that at all.
My World Series is the Astros limp into the wild card. They somehow get that game. They face the Yankees, and they create some havoc. And they beat the Yankees. That's my wild card. That's my World Series. I'll be happy. That's a successful season for me.
That'd probably be the most pain the Yankees have been in their whole.
That I would love it. I would love it.
They are in the past. I've talked so much shit about the Yankees, as I should, because fuck them. But for real, they have a crazy good team this year. I mean, if Cole can go back and be Cole, and they have Cole, Rodon, was it Luis Yule?
Yeah,
he's nasty. You have Nestor still. Like they have a crazy offense and crazy pitching staff. They should be in the World Series. That's the thing. They should. So if the Astros take them out again, then that's just even sweeter. That's just perfect. That's perfect.
and they're 51-25. If somehow, some way, the second half Yankees, that usually the second half Yankees are the Blues Yankees. They had a bad loss today against the Orioles. But if I see my Astros just limp into these playoffs and somehow divisional game, they're there facing the New York Yankees, and they somehow beat them in 6. If you thought the trash talk was if you thought it's not even trash talk, if you thought the shit talk was bad, it is going to be a lot of fun after that.
It would be, it would just be. I don't know how you could ever watch another Yankees game again as a Yankees fan. I'd probably hang it up, to be honest.
It would be extremely tough on their side, putting myself in their shoes. Josh, this was fun, man. I appreciate you coming on the podcast, coming on the YouTube channel. Let the people know what you're doing, what y'all got cooking up on Apollo, and if there's anything, drop your @, drop your tags, all that good stuff.
Yeah. At Apollo HOU, we are just making content for Houston sports. We also, if you're into movies, we have our movie TikTok. That's somehow the biggest thing we do, even though we just kind of do it on the side. It's Watch with Apollo on TikTok. Play some movie games and stuff over there. And my @ is at ApolloJosh1. So follow me on Twitter and Instagram.
Make sure, guys, if you are still watching, you're a trooper. I appreciate it. Go ahead, smash that like button. Easiest smash of your life.
Yep.
Go down in that. Of course. You go down in that comment section. If you don't know what to drop down there, let me know how the Astros are going to do this year. Let me know if they're a playoff team. And if you just got a brain fart, just drop an Apollo real quick down in the comment section. How about that? We'll do that, and we'll drop some dubs in there. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Make sure y'all are subscribed. We just passed 8.5 just a few days ago. So again, guys, appreciate it. Make sure y'all are not only subscribing to my channel, you're not going to want to miss any awesome content that Apollo Media drops as well. Check out their merch store. Definitely something that people love is clothing. I mean, people love fly clothes. That's why I got the Sugarland Space Cowboys little Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, hell yeah, they got some good stuff.
They got some great stuff. My goodness. Thank you, Josh, for coming on, man. Appreciate it. As always, guys, go Astros, go Rockets, go Texans. You have a blessed day.